The whole tournament leads to this, the grand opening, a top 15 clash between Oklahoma State and Florida State. Now, the grand closing, a top 15 clash between Oklahoma State and Florida State. Round one, an amazing bookend. We close out the first weekend of softball in 2025 right here on Flo College. Happy to have you back, everyone. Corey Brooks, Nicole Mendez with you. Nicole, this was the matchup we had circled right out of the gates, and it remains just as true now. Both teams so motivated. Florida State wants revenge on these Cowgirls from game one. They started to play really well towards the end of that game, just ran out of time. The Cowgirls playing well themselves, and they want to answer their defeat at the hands of a good Bulldogs team here in PV.
This is the matchup. You said it best, Corey. Being able to come into the final day knowing you've played this team again, it's almost like a mini series, and there's a lot to prove on either side. And I think the biggest thing that each team is trying to prove is how do you respond. Oklahoma State with the loss that they had, Florida State with the loss against Oklahoma State earlier. There's a little bit of pride on the line here. And both of these teams, they are so talented and have the potential to wind up in OKC later this year in June. What better way to get that practice, to get that experience and exposure than right here, right now, all eyes on this stage.
We set it to open up game one. It is just as true now. This is a potential World Series preview. And with opening rankings season right around the corner, this one goes a long way for whoever picks it up. There have been upsets all across the sport. Teams announcing themselves in a new era of conference realignment. We were just talking about it before we went on air. These signature wins are going to be maybe even more important than ever because the schedule in these conferences is as insane as it's ever been, probably more so. The ACC has gotten better and better and better every single year. And yes, the Big 12 lost their Big 2, but the depth in that league is better than ever. Made so by the fact there are so many local fans in the stands in Puerto Vallarta, singing along to the anthem, embracing the moment, and getting ready for this top 15 clash. That right there, as much as the elite softball, is what this tournament is about. Great look at what everybody comes down to Puerto Vallarta for. You take the field first this time as the sun begins to set in both Puerto Vallarta and in our opening round of action. The Noles and the Cowgirls go at it one more time to close it down. First payoff pitch of the proceedings is good for strike three. A.B. Weedra's got her third K to begin her third appearance. A powerful hitting catcher, Hassler, down the
Season, anything can happen, not just in the games, but as an athlete. You've been struggling in the fall, all of a sudden something clicks come February.
Hartley, slow roll, it's a miscommunication, and she's on again. Christina Hartley's gonna start her year 2 for 2 with 4 RBI, including last game and the home run. Everything going the way of 2-7.
That extra lunge, that extra effort, looked like Rosie Davis thought that might have been Carly Godwin's ball. Like that's how it always happens. It's always one of those just flare squibblers, the pitcher's just dominating, and then the weirdest, funkiest hit is the one that breaks the spell.
Edwards knocked it down, and the stretch is enough by Godwin. Shaken up a little earlier, she looked great right there. The Oklahoma State defense answers the miscue.
This ball was a shot, took Edwards down to her knee. At least she was able to block it, but Godwin, that stretch, knowing when to reach out, grab that ball.
Hart hits it hard and gets it through to the grass, all the way to the fence. Hartley across, Beecham across, Dak across. Kennedy Hart's playing music. She brings home 3.
That celebration, that energy. Kennedy Hart, this one just misses the glove of Rosie Davis and then gets past right field. Being able to get past Timms, that is the goal right there for Florida State. As soon as you see that happen, that right fielder diving for that ball and the ball rolling past as a runner on first, you're thinking score immediately. That is a huge momentum shift as Florida State takes the lead 3-0.
What a weekend for Kennedy Hart. 10 runs batted in here in Puerto Vallarta. 3 was her career high coming in. She gets it on 1 swing. And Halliway Kaser ahead as well. 2 out hitting. It was big for Florida State in the first game today, getting a couple of home runs with 2 down. And now the bases clearing 3-bagger.
Transfer from Baylor to in-conference Oklahoma State.
She plucks Amaya Ross on the first pitch. That's not how you draw it up.
This one just gets away from her a little bit too much, and ooh, a 2-for-1 right there.
Now batting for Florida State.
It's both the hitter and the catcher.
Everyone feels it.
Tonight, Kurt.
But it's only Amaya Ross who gets the benefit. Hart hits it hard and gets it through to the grass, all the way to the fence. Hartley across, Beecham across, Dak across. Kennedy Hart's playing music. She brings home 3.
That celebration, that energy. Kennedy Hart, this one just misses the glove of Rosie Davis and then gets past right field. Being able to get past Timms, that is the goal right there for Florida State. As soon as you see that happen, that right fielder diving for that ball and the ball rolling past as a runner on first, you're thinking score immediately. That is a huge momentum shift as Florida State takes the lead 3-0.
What a weekend for Kennedy Hart. 10 runs batted in here in Puerto Vallarta. 3 was her career high coming in. She gets it on 1 swing. And Halliway Kaser ahead as well. 2 out hitting. It was big for Florida State in the first game today, getting a couple of home runs with 2 down. And now the bases clearing 3-bagger.
Florida State making these Oklahoma State pitchers work. Whatever the result is, they have had 4 full pitch counts.
Hartley gives it a ride, but it fits into the waiting glove of Hadut. Still, mission accomplished. Her second sac fly in as many games, and Florida State makes this a multi-run frame.
Corey, you called it yourself, a sac fly. That is the bare minimum right here. This one sent for a little bit of a ride. But Florida State, they have done the most on capitalizing on opportunities presented to them.
The payoff pitch is good for strike 3. That inside pitch by Crandall was huge against Beecham and Dak. That's how the frame is closed. But 2 runs on 2 hits for Florida State. And they've got themselves a big lead in search of a top 5 win. beginning her second inning of work and plunks Edenfield. Both of the opening pitches have been a hit by pitch for Riley Crandall.
Crandall trying to go in and tight. We saw that one pitch that hit Beecham. Edenfield's very excited that she's not going to have to run on this one. This one gets right above the kneecap. And I will say this, the way that she popped up so quickly, unfazed. Michaela Edenfield is a different beast. Let's just put that out there.
No doubt. It's a special type of athlete. Nearly 3 decades of head coaching experience between these two at their current stops. Well placed. Kennedy Harp doing it all. The triple last time, and she goes right back on base.
What I love from this swing, this ball is tight in on the hands, and the way that she's just able to get that barrel extended. A lot of times as a hitter, you see that inside pitch, your eyes get big, your foot lifts up, the toes start to wiggle, you get overly excited. And whenever that pitch comes, you get so excited, twist, foul ball, of the farthest home run you've ever hit, but 50 feet foul. So being able to keep that fair right on the line, that was big.
Exact same circumstance here, with the difference being you're going against a top 5 team. Nice bounce back, necessarily so, for Riley Crandall.
Crandall using the momentum and the situation. There's a big time situation. You know the nerves, you know these hitters are gonna want to be able to have that big moment. Get them to chase, get them to go a little bit farther outside than they would like.
Janai Kerr gets it through the middle. Florida State rolling now. Janai Kerr getting everything done. Harp cashes in. It's 7-0 Seminoles.
Talk about a statement right there. This one hard up the middle. You could see both the middles, they were pinched in tighter, more so on the towards the line, towards the corners. This one gets through handily. But Oklahoma State, they are 1 run away from a statement that they do not want to have. The energy on this field for OSU, it is very low. Being able to come together and find a way. Oklahoma State, their offense is powerful. You can get 2 outs before this last run. They do a good job of passing the bat, but defensively, they've been letting Florida State pass the bat just a little bit too much.
No team in the history of Seminole softball had more runs batted in than this Seminole group last year, in large part because of the contributions of Isa Torres. They bat in 1 more, they win the game. Torres lofts it high and deep. It hits the fence. The Torres pinker to the fence, closes the door. Florida State, a top 5 win in walk-off fashion.
In the celebration from this team right here, the way that they started off this tournament, a ton of defensive miscues, flat offensively to round it out, finish out this tournament like this. Florida State, this is a team that knows how to win, in a huge win against a top 5 team, Oklahoma State.
So a fun session 1 is taken over by Florida State. We didn't have any run rules until the nightcap yesterday, and then Florida State today ends them both in emphatic fashion after they take the gut punch in the first game against Oklahoma State. They have done just about nothing but rake sense. FSU looking to make a statement. For the last 10 or so years, they have never missed the World Series in back-to-back years. They didn't go last year. That might mean these Seminoles are due. They finish up this first session with a win. Oklahoma State, they've still got plenty of great softball in front of them. Tremendous schedule all year long. They'll have the opportunity to bounce back in a hurry. That's going to do it for this first session. 4 great teams, 4 quite possible conference champions show their class to close out the opening weekend of softball. It's finally back. The offseason is over, and we get to celebrate with some unbelievable plays across these last few days. Certainly hope you'll join us for session 2 as BYU and NDSU open up a 6-team slate. And that's Wednesday afternoon right here on Flo College. For my broadcast partner, Nicole Mendez, our entire crew in Puerto Vallarta doing an awesome job with a ton of games this weekend. I'm Corey Brooks. The final takeaway, the grudge match accomplished. Florida State gets their revenge and goes into the second weekend with all the momentum in the world. Good night from Nancy Almaraz Stadium.